Hi guys, welcome back. Today's video is going to be on the new Huda Beauty concealer. This one is called the Overachiever Concealer and I got it in the color Nugget, which is the color 06G that has the gold undertone in it. It's supposed to be a really full coverage concealer, it says high coverage creamy concealer, intense pigmentation. And with the concealer they also launched a new brush. This one is the Face Conceal and Blend, and since I have yet to find a good concealer brush for blending out, because I always have to use my beauty blender, so even if I don't want to apply my makeup with my beauty blender that day, I always have to go and wash it and wet it because I need something to blend out my concealer. So if I can find a good brush to actually blend out a concealer, I want to see if this one's it. So like I said, this one is a brand new one that they just launched along with the product. Okay, so this is actually going to be the first time that I try it, and I'm going to use it throughout the day, and I'm going to check in later. But right now it's well, I'll tell you the time whenever I finish applying it, because that's whenever it counts. Right now I don't have anything on my face besides my eyebrows and a little bit of concealer underneath, because I do clean up my eyebrows with concealer, but I don't have any foundation on right now. I only have my moisturizer, which is this one, and I'm gonna go in with a primer because I always apply primer before applying any foundation or concealer. What's underneath it does matter sometimes, so I'm gonna go ahead and apply my primer first. I'm gonna use the Maybelline Master Prime primer, and since I also apply this on my under eye area, that's why I feel like it's, I don't know, it's okay for me to show you this part so you can know what's underneath the foundation. Underneath the concealer. And then for foundation today, I'm gonna use the Maybelline Superstay 24 Hour. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply this one, but I'm not gonna be applying it too close to my under eye area. And this is how it looks whenever you open it. So it has like this metal applicator. Yeah, it feels really cold because it is like, it's a metal. So I'm gonna go ahead and squeeze some out. I'm not gonna apply too much because I don't know how much yet. So let me just go ahead and apply it here. Let me get a little mirror. Apply it a little bit more on this side. It does feel cold. It looks super full coverage. Like maybe I am applying too much. And I'm also going to be applying this on my highlighting areas. I don't want to take off my concealer. This one just says that it is a dual-ended concealing complexion brush made with synthetic fibers. So this one's the fluffy one. This one's supposed to be good for blending out the concealer. And then the small side, it's supposed to just be like to apply it wherever you want it. And the small side is just a flat one, so I'm wondering if this one would be good for like cut creases. I'm gonna try it eventually, but this side is the one that's supposed to be good for blending out. So since I already applied it everywhere I wanted it, I am not going to use the flat side yet unless I want to, just to try it. But I want to see how it works for blending out. That is the main reason why I got the brush, so I'm gonna go ahead and try that. I have never really used a brush for blending out because I've tried some and they just don't really blend out. Like, they don't really work. It's kind of poking me. Like, it's not very soft. I guess it's because it's synthetic, so it's kind of plasticky, but it doesn't feel that great. I don't know if it was because I waited a little while I was like showing you the product and opening it up, but it did dry a little fast, but it wasn't hard to blend out, so you can see it right there. And I'm surprised that it actually blended out because, like I said, I wasn't expecting for it to actually work. My expectations were low for the brush. Okay, it's pokey though. I don't like that it's pokey, but I do like that it blended it out. So let me go ahead and do this eye. The foundation seems like a super full coverage foundation. You only need a little bit. I feel like I applied a lot of product on this eye, and it does seem like one of those concealers that dry kind of fast, so don't wait too long to blend it out. Okay, so I did apply more product on this eye. Look at how bright that is. I did apply more product, so it does look a little thicker on this side. The side that I applied less, I like it better. I just feel like it looks thinner. This side looks a little thick. And it's obvious because, I mean, I did apply more product on this eye. Not on purpose, I don't know. The way that it came out of the tube, that's how I applied it. So yeah, these areas are a little bit harder to blend, because it already dried a little bit. Okay, I'm not really liking how it's blending on my chin, so let me go ahead and use my beauty blender for this. Just because, again, I feel like it's just drying pretty quickly. Look, it doesn't really want to blend out. So for sure, this is going to be one of those concealers that you want to apply it and blend it out immediately. So I'm just going to use this side to try to blend this part out. Just because it's a small little area. Okay, so it pretty much dried a little too quickly, so I'm gonna go over it with my beauty blender because it's not really blending out. Okay, so that is much better. It does give me a lot of bright, oh, I went a little too close to my under eye. I have a little hair. Okay, so for sure it is a complete full coverage concealer. It is really thick and it was easy to blend out with this little brush, but the brush is pokey, so that's not great for your under eye area. But if you don't mind a little bit of pokiness, it's not like pokey the entire time I was blending it out, but there's certain spots, I guess depending on where it's hitting me, that it just kind of hurts. But other than that, like if I had to use a brush and I didn't have a clean beauty blender, I would be using this one. So it's not bad. It's like, it has like this angled shape, so I guess that's why it makes it pretty easy to blend out. But I would recommend applying the product and blending it out immediately instead of like waiting, because I kind of did that, so it made it hard to blend out. Not so much on the under eye area, but it did take longer on the center of my face. I honestly wasn't expecting for it to work. I was just like, okay, I want to try. I had low expectations. Of course I want it to work because that's why I bought it, but I didn't have high expectations because I have tried other concealing, like blending out brushes, and I don't know, they just don't really blend out. They kind of look spotty, or they look like little dots, and so I always have to go over it with the beauty blender, which defeats the purpose of using a brush. Because I know for sure the beauty blender is always gonna work, but sometimes I don't feel like using it or like cleaning it and having to wet it or something like that. So if I could just use a brush, that would be nice sometimes. So that is it for the concealer. I'm gonna go ahead and set it, but before I do, I'm gonna blend out just a tiny bit one more time just to make sure that it's not creasing. It's staying put. Like, it is really thick. It's really thick and it already dried down. So that is the way that it looks. You can tell that it really did cover up a lot. So the concealer, the powder I mean, that I'm going to be setting the concealer with is going to be the Covergirl one. And this one, I know for sure, always sets my concealers really good. It's one of my favorites, so that's why I'm going to use it today. So I am actually going to, let me use a brush. I'm just going to use a regular brush so that way I don't use the beauty blender underneath, you know, where I didn't want to use the beauty blender for my under eyes. So I'm just going to use the JH07, and I'm going to do a little bit of baking, kind of, because I am going to apply a lot of powder. So let me just set it like this. Now this brush is different. This one really does feel soft compared to the Huda Beauty one that I just used. And I'm going to set everywhere that I applied the concealer. For the rest of my face, I'm going to use this same powder, and I'm going to go ahead and remove it. So I'm not doing like, I'm not going to wait like forever for it to bake. I just kind of applied a lot. Now it is 10:22 in the morning, and I just finished applying the, there we go, 3 now. I just finished applying the powder, so I'm gonna go ahead and wear it for the rest of the day and see how it wears. And I have a little bit of wrinkles, but there's no creasing on my under eyes, so nothing like that's building up, getting into little lines or anything. It is completely full coverage. So I finished the rest of my makeup, and this is the way that my face will look throughout the day. So right now it is 10:36, and it's only been a little bit. It was a real quick makeup look. So I will just be back later to give you an update on how it looks so far. It looks really good, you guys. It was easy to blend, but I feel like it would have been even better. It was easy to blend on my under eyes, but I feel like it would have been even better if I would have blended it out right after. I feel like I waited maybe a little bit too long, so it just made it hard. And then on the center of my face, that definitely was completely like too dry, so I really needed to use the beauty blender for that, since that's a little damp and it just helps it blend it out so much more. Now the only thing about double-sided brushes is that I have to pick which side am I gonna care less about, so that way I can stick it like that in my we know where the rest of my brushes are, because I do keep them in cup holders, or not cup holders, in pencil holders or whatever. I keep them like up and down. So yeah, one side sometimes does get a little bent because I do have some other ones like that. So that is the only problem with getting two brushes, but the main one that I was interested in was the fluffy one, to see if it would blend out. So it did. It's just pokey, so it's not the softest, smoothest brush ever. So like I said, that is it for right now, and I will see y'all in a little bit. Okay, so I am back for the end of the day update, and it is 7:26. This has been a few hours, a lot of hours actually, and I can already tell you like what I think about it just by wearing it throughout the day today. And I was actually a little bit sweaty just because I did a sweater fall try-on haul earlier, and I was like taking off a few sweaters like on and off, on and off. So I do look a little bit oily, and I can tell, let me take off my glasses, I can tell that I look kind of oily from around my face, not so much on my under eyes. So I mean, it's a pretty powdery concealer. Let me see, it looks different than what it did at the beginning. Like it does look like it's not fresh, but it doesn't look bad, like it creased, or like, you know, there's too much product like in between my wrinkles there. Nothing like that. So let me bring you in a little bit closer so you can see what I'm talking about. Turn it down a little bit. Okay, so here's a close-up. And I got mascara there and everything, but you can see just how the concealer looks. And let me do a side by side. Here is the one that I did earlier today around 10:40ish, and this is now at 7:30. As far as the brush, I think it did a really good job blending out. Like I said, I do feel like it's pokey, but it's not too bad. It just depends on like where the bristle is hitting you on your under eye area. That's where I felt it the most. I didn't really feel it like the other spots that I tried to blend out. The formula for sure is dry, so it does make it hard to blend if you wait too long. And since I was opening the packaging to this and showing you the brush and stuff like that, it just took up time for me to blend it out, so it made it harder. But as far as the coverage, it is completely full coverage, and the way that it blends it out, I think it was still good. Even though I took a little bit longer, it still did a good job, and the brush did a good job blending it out, which, like I said, I'm surprised because I don't have any brushes that really blend out concealer. Like, I have brushes for my foundation, for pretty much everything except for concealer. So I am happy that finally, you know, there's one that actually blends it out, not that just spreads it out, you know. And I didn't feel like it took up a lot of my product or anything. I still had plenty of product on my face. And this side, I don't think it's gonna be very useful. I'm gonna try it for cut creases because it's just very tiny. It didn't do anything of the blending. And then on my nose, it wasn't blending it out. So I feel like this is just to kind of spread it out on certain areas that you want, maybe around your nose or something. But I don't think it's really gonna work out too much for anything. But like I said, I'm gonna try it for my cut creases. The only problem that I was telling you was how you would store this. If you put it in a drawer, well, obviously it'll be easy, but if you go like this, you're probably gonna ruin one side. So I am just gonna end up storing it just like this because I care more about the blending side. I'm just gonna put a little bit. Okay, there, because my lips were looking a little crazy. It's just been a full day, so I've been eating and drinking stuff and everything, and I don't really retouch. It was just looking a little weird on camera. But yes, guys, that is pretty much it for this try on and review for today, or for, I couldn't think about what it was called, but the wear test for this concealer and the first impression on the brush. I think I'm gonna be using this. Just like I said, sometimes I don't want to use my beauty blender, like go wash it, wet it, or if it's already clean, you know, just to get up and go wet it. I'm glad that this one did work out for me. If you are looking for a very intense, very full coverage concealer, I think this is a good one to get. Like I said, mine has a golden undertone, but it is a light version. But that is pretty much it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching it, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.